Hello and welcome to News Now. I'm your host, Taylor Inman. We're going over the week's biggest headlines for Northwest Montana. U.S. immigration authorities deported 8 children, some of whom were U.S. citizens, following the arrest of 21 people in late April near the Montana-Canada border. Authorities deported the children along with their mothers to Canada while keeping the women's husbands and others in the United States to face criminal immigration charges. The children ranged in age from less than a year to 10 years old. At least 3 were U.S. citizens, although the exact number wasn't clear in court documents or testimony. Most of the people involved are Romanian citizens, according to case documents. During a Monday hearing in U.S. District Court in Great Falls, U.S. Border Patrol agent Adam Kovach said that the group produced birth certificates for the American children while detained at a Border Patrol station. He said they were initially told some of them were born in Germany, but it later came to light that several of them were born in the U.S. Ultimately, U.S. authorities deported all of the children, their mothers, and extended family members. One of the deported women was 8.5 months pregnant and was taken to a hospital during U.S. detention due to labor pains, according to Kovach. She was later discharged and deported along with the others, and it's not clear whether she has given birth while her husband remains in U.S. custody. The details emerged during testimony Monday in the case of Ionut Gheorghe, a 27-year-old Romanian man. He faces a potential indictment for transporting illegal aliens into the country as one of the alleged drivers of 2 vans that U.S. Customs and Border Protection stopped last month. Monday's preliminary hearing was meant to establish evidence to support a criminal indictment against Gheorghe. Early in the morning of April 25th, camera sensors alerted U.S. Border Protection and Customs that 2 vans traveled from Canada into the United States at a remote crossroads east of Sweetgrass, according to court documents. Kovach described the area as a hotbed of illegal border crossings. Border Patrol agents tracked the vans as they moved south on Interstate 15 and eventually pulled them over at 3:21 a.m. Agents took all 21 of the people into the Sweetgrass Border Patrol station for investigation and processing. Kovach testified that the vans were filled with luggage and more people than available seats, especially for the children. Just 7 of the occupants ended up in court, including 2 of the alleged drivers, Adi Gheorghe and Ionut Gheorghe, who are brothers. Prosecutors charged those 2 with the most serious offenses among the group, bringing in and transporting illegal aliens. The other 5 were charged with illegally entering or re-entering the country. During Monday's court hearing, Kovach said that the decision to deport the American children was to keep them with their mothers. Great Falls defense attorney Samir Arab characterized the evidence against Ionut Gheorghe as a chain of inferences and said nothing shows Ionut Gheorghe actually crossing the border. The border sensors snapped photos of the vans moving along the border, both on the Canadian side and the American side, according to Kovach. Court documents state that Ionut Gheorghe admitted to crossing the border illegally with his family. Kovach also testified that his unit at the Sweetgrass station has no dash cams or body cams to record interactions, and that there is no recording of the interrogation of Gheorghe. Arab said that the deported women and children could have been witnesses in the case. A spokesperson for U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement told Montana Free Press that the agency had no involvement in this case. A spokesperson for U.S. Customs and Border Protection didn't respond to an inquiry on Monday afternoon. A spokesperson for Canada Border Services Agency said that border and immigration information is considered private, and that the agency would not comment on specific cases. At the conclusion of Monday's hearing, U.S. Magistrate John Johnston said there is sufficient probable cause against Ionut Gheorghe for the criminal case to proceed. Michael Ray Downing of Hungry Horse, recently arrested and charged in connection with a burglary ring that targeted seasonal homes and local businesses, is no stranger to Flathead Valley law enforcement. In August 2006, Downing, then 27, earned the nickname Cocaine Fairy after he was busted by the Northwest Montana Drug Task Force near Big Fork. When authorities arrived, Downing fled out the back door as officers came through the front. Downing tore open a half-pound bag of cocaine as he ran, creating a big cloud of cocaine as he ducked into the woods, earning the moniker. He escaped that arrest attempt, but was captured soon after. Task force members found more than 4 pounds of cocaine in the home and $12,000 in cash. Downing was charged and ultimately pleaded guilty in federal court to conspiracy to distribute cocaine in 2007. He was sentenced to 70 months in prison and 5 years probation. He violated the terms of his probation in a couple of instances for drinking, according to court records, and wasn't released from federal probation until 2019. Flathead County Sheriff Brian Haino, a member of the Drug Task Force in 2006, said he remembers Downing well. Downing, now 46, was just as bold with his latest string of alleged burglaries. Haino said law enforcement had Downing in their sights, but then he allegedly tried to tear a safe out of a house with a chain and side-by-side up on Half Moon Road, which led to his May 6th arrest by the regional SWAT team at his Mountain Drive home in Hungry Horse. Since October 2024, over 15 burglary cases across Flathead County have been linked to Downing and his crew, Haino said. The vast majority of the targeted properties have been vacant residencies, often seasonal homes. Haino said investigators are continuing to tie together the burglaries as more information comes in, but he said he could confirm that vehicles stolen from Glacier Raft Company last year have been linked to Downing. Columbia Falls Police Chief Chad Stevens said the department is exploring the possibility that Downing and his accomplices may be responsible for the theft of about $35,000 in tools from contractors building the Columbia Falls skateboard park last year. Two other people, 35-year-old James Ekfall and 35-year-old Ashley Bruns, have also been arrested in connection with the alleged burglary ring. The investigation remains ongoing. Anyone with information related to these burglaries is urged to contact the Flathead County Sheriff's Office at 406-758-5610. Cassidy Kipp, with Community Action Partnership of Northwest Montana, opened an email on March 6 to find federal dollars meant to help pay for renovating their headquarters had abruptly been pulled. The nonprofit, of which Kipp is the Director of Project Development, connects individuals across Northwest Montana with community programs like heating and rental assistance. It was using the money on its new location at 1820 US 93 South in Kalispell, which also houses a recently launched subsidized childcare program. The email, which had come from an intermediary responsible for doling out the dollars, said that without warning and without consultation, all of the grants were pulled nationally. The money had been rescinded the week prior, according to the message. Kipp immediately halted work on the new facility. The Community Action Partnership relocated at the end of 2024 to a new building along US 93. The organization was in the middle of pre-development planning to spruce up the new place when funds were pulled. She said thankfully they hadn't accrued a ton of expenses in that window of time, but quickly terminated all efforts and pivoted. The two grants funding the project came from the Department of Housing and Urban Development's Section 4 Competitive Grant Program, which is intended to help nonprofits carry out community development activities. Each grant amounted between $40,000 and $60,000, according to Kipp. But more than a month later, Kipp arrived in her office on April 29th to find another email. The grants had been reinstated. An official from the Federal Housing Department told the Daily Interlake that the grant program was halted for being out of compliance with President Donald Trump's spate of executive orders. Kipp said the specific order the program was in violation of was ending radical and wasteful government DEI program and preferencing, which Trump signed on January 20th. The federal agency told the Interlake that the organizations could appeal the Section 4 grant revocations on a case-by-case basis. A national organization, Rural Local Initiatives Support Cooperation, which was responsible for distributing the grant funds, successfully appealed the cancellation, according to a post on the organization's website. Kipp said she is always looking for more ways to make operations more efficient, but that the federal dollars funding building revitalization is not an example of wasteful spending or contributing to a woke agenda. She said, quote, "All we are trying to do with this particular programming is align with what the city requirements are for our campus space and make sure that we are being a good neighbor. We're talking about eliminating a bunch of grasses in the front yard, not about some woke agenda," end quote. The Learning Tree Preschool is a new low-income childcare facility that can host up to 24 kids and holds story times, group music, and cooperative games. Stockman Bank helped build a playground on the property, which also houses the Community Action Partnership's headquarters, according to Kipp. The Kalispell location is also home to a paid HVAC apprenticeship program. Participants conduct energy audits at homes and retrofit energy-saving techniques like replacing windows, furnaces, and wood stoves. Although the grants were restored, business is not as usual. Kipp said she remains on edge and will continue to be nimble with funding by finding ways to diversify revenue. Heating assistance remains the most used program, according to the nonprofit's end-of-year statistics. Kipp said they are finding an increasing number of homeowners who are seeking help to alleviate heating bills. Thanks for joining us. News Now is a podcast from the Daily Interlake. We're proud to be the largest independent newsroom in Montana and the longest continuously published newspaper in the region. Today's stories were written by Montana Free Press reporter Matt Hudson, Hungry Horse News editor Chris Peterson, and Daily Interlake reporter Jack Underhill. If you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel to never miss an episode of the pod. Everybody stay safe and have a great week. Thanks to our sponsor, Lauren's Auto Repair at 1309 US Highway 2 in Kalispell. Most consistently rated 5-star shop serving the Kalispell area. Visit lawrencauto.com.